everyone, this is Andy from GIS China, and today we're going to unbox the Cubot X17 smartphone. Now, if you've seen the Cubot X16 unboxing already, there isn't going to be much of a surprise here. The actual specs are the same as the X16, just the design has changed. So let's take a look at that. So here's the box, brown Cubot box. We've got specifications on the rear, but we'll take a look at those as we're doing the unboxing. So if we just slide it open, first thing you see is the X17, and we've got this plastic coating cover on the phone to protect it while it's in transit, and it gives us details such as a 5-inch display. Apparently it's got a 16 megapixel rear camera, 4G FDD LTE, and a full HD 1920 by 1080 display. I can confirm that those specs are in fact correct, except it's not a 16 megapixel sensor, it's a 30 megapixel camera which has been interpolated to take higher resolution photos. It's a common feature in Chinese phones, and that's what Cubot are using there. So there's the X17. I'm just going to pop that to one side and let's see what else is in the box. Alright, so when you open up the packaging, you remove the phone, you get a little bit of information on how you can use the SIM tray on the Cubot X17. Like a lot of other different phones, you can include either dual SIM or you can have one SIM and a micro SD card. And this little instruction inside the box will teach you how to use that SIM tray, which is on the left hand side of the X17. It also shows you how to charge the phone, which is useful too. Alright, we've got a quick start guide. Let's just remove that. So we have the Cubot Quick Start Guide. It's the same as what we found in the X16. It's a very detailed book in English and a few other languages too. So if you're giving this phone this holiday to someone who's never used an Android device, this is actually quite a handy piece of kit. We've also got a screen protector and a small lint-free cloth for cleaning up the screen before applying. We've got a standard USB cable here. This is a micro USB, not a Type-C. That's not a problem. The Type-C doesn't really add much benefit to a phone of this price anyway. We've also got a SIM ejector tool, which is here. It's actually fastened into the packet, is it? No, you can take it out. So SIM ejector tool there as well. And we also have an EU standard charger to charge up the internal battery. Alright, let's take a look at the actual phone itself. So as you can see, it's all wrapped up nice and secure in this plastic wrapper. It's also got a clear cover on the phone, which I'll remove as well, so we can have a good look at the actual thickness. Now the first impressions of this phone, when I get it in my hand and I'm feeling it, it feels quite heavy, and that might be partially due to the metal construction, which I believe is steel. It's not an aluminium chassis, it's a steel chassis. So that does add to the overall weight of the phone. Alright, let's undo the packaging. Let's see if we can get into here. So this is actually very similar to what Oppo and Vivo do with their phones. When you get an Oppo or Vivo device, you will get it all wrapped up nice and secure in this plastic, and you will also get a plastic case attached to the phone too. So, you know, presentation, Cubot have done a pretty good job. So there's the actual X17 phone. It's a thin device, even thinner when you remove this plastic case. There we go, you can see the case. That should protect the corners if you drop it, and it will stop the back from getting scratched up. Okay, so as you can see, the design compared to the X16 is a little bit different. We've got this, it looks like a bezel-less screen that runs from edge to edge. But on closer inspection you can just make out the black bezels around the edge of the screen, and that's a 5-inch full HD panel. At the bottom of the screen, below the screen, we have these capacitive buttons for navigating through Android on the phone. Here. At the top we've got an 8 megapixel camera. Now again, I believe that to be an interpolated specification number, and I think it's actually a 5 megapixel camera at the top. On the rear we've got that 30 megapixel camera that can take 16 megapixel photos. We have a dual LED flash. We've got an aluminium, it is aluminium, an aluminium cover across the rear This chassis around the edge is steel. We've got a 3.5mm headphone jack at the top. Got that the micro SIM and SD SIM tray on the left. Regular USB in the base, and we've got a power and volume rocker on the right. As you can see, it's pretty small. It's a nice compact phone. It's quite thin. It's very, very narrow in your hand, so it's actually very, very comfortable. If you're used to a 5.5 inch phone and you're going to something like this 5-incher, it does feel very, very comfortable. It's quite nice to actually have something this compact in your pocket. It doesn't really take much room up. Alright, let's hope that there's some power in here. There you go, so it's just booting up now. Now the specifications of this phone include 3 GB of RAM. We've got a MediaTek MT6735A 1.3 GHz quad-core processor. That's running Android 5.1. Apparently this display is from JDI. And apparently the SD card will take up to, the SD card reader will take up to 32 GB cards. Alright, so it's all booted up. Let's take a look at the actual device. Let's open it up, unlock it. So we've got a near stock looking Android system here. Let's have a look at the settings. You can see once we go into the menu, we have this black border around the edge of the phone. And you can see on the first screen of the menu, we've got a hot knot feature. Now basically hot knot is very similar to NFC, except it's MediaTek's own version of it. And it requires you to place 2 phones screen to screen, and you can transfer data and files or contacts or whatever from phone to phone. It's a feature that, to be honest, I didn't think we would see much of, to be perfectly honest. But more and more Chinese phone makers are adding hot knot feature into their devices, so it is becoming more common. As we run down the phone, let's go into the about the phone. We've got Android 5.1 there, you can see. Let's go back. So overall, the settings themselves look very, very similar to a normal Android system. We do have support for gesture control. We've got off-screen gestures. If I turn those on, we can add different gestures. So apparently if I draw a C now, I can open an application. For example, I can open the browser. Let's give that a go. Let's see if that works. So there you go. There we go. It works. Oh, maybe not. It needs some setting up, I guess. Let's try that again. Let's go back into those gesture controls again. One moment. Draw C to start browser. Okay, let's try that again then. So this should start the browser. Okay, it's not, it's just unlocking the screen. So I think we had the same problem with the X16, and that needs to be sorted. We've got on-screen gestures too. We've got a 3-point screenshot, so apparently, there we go, these gestures are not working either. So there are gestures in there, but they're not working, which is not particularly useful. Let's see what else we've got in here. So as you can see, it looks like a standard Android operating system. And we've got an app drawer, and you can see that Google support is already included. We've got Google Play Store there. We've got Google Chrome and all your different bits and bobs in there already. Let's take a look at this rear camera. Oh, where's the camera app? Sorry. One moment, there it is. Let's take a look at this rear camera now. Again, in the X17, we've got this pretty nice camera application. It does look standard. I don't know if you can just make this out. Let me just turn the screen brightness down. Oh, it's already quite low. But you can see it looks like an almost standard Android camera application, but we do have this little neat UI here, which will allow me to get into different versions, different settings, sorry, of the camera. We've got camera, beauty, panoramic. We've got live photos, lots of different options there. The actual camera itself, let's just bring something in to take a photo of. Focus is quite slow. Let's try that again. Yeah, focus is a little bit slow. The actual photos themselves, not so bad actually. I mean, on this 5-inch Full HD JDI display, the images look okay, the colors look alright. Just before doing this video I was using the Yumi Iron Pro, and compared to that the Cubot X17 does appear to have better colors in the rear camera, so which is pretty good. Actually, yeah, if you just look a little bit closer at the camera, you can see that there's a little bit of bubbling there. That could be, yeah, sorry, there we go. We've got a a lens protector on the camera, so actually real camera performance should be a little bit better than what I just showed you there in the quick hands-on. Alright, so that's it. That's the Cubot X17 phone. I think I've gone through all the specifications. It's got 16 gigabytes of internal memory, 3 gigabytes of RAM. It's running Android 5.1 and a MediaTek MT6735A 1.3 GHz processor. Full HD display. The front camera has an f2.2 aperture, and the rear camera also has an f2.2. It's got dual LED flash as well, the rear camera. Trying to find the camera, sorry, here we go. Battery specs, 2500 mAh, which, considering the thickness of the phone, which is apparently 6.1 millimeters according to the specifications, isn't that bad. It does feel a little bit thicker than 6.1. Perhaps that's just the measurement of the metal on the chassis. The overall dimensions, for those of you who are interested, are 143.4 by 69.4 by 6.1. Those are the official dimensions, not the physical dimensions. I will measure them to be sure for the full review. Alright, so that's it. That's the Cubot X17 hands-on video. If you have any questions about this phone, please feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer them as soon as possible. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.